Hi, so I recently made a purchase of this TVS Gold Prime keyboard and I paid 2900 rupees for this keyboard. There are already plenty of reviews of this keyboard on internet, but I wanted to share my preference and what I found in this keyboard. I must first tell what this keyboard is and what it is not, because this when we have to distinguish this keyboard from the other offerings from this same company TVS, we see that this is a gold prime keyboard and it comes with long Hua red switches which are linear, and there is one TVS E Gold which comes with long Hua blue switches which are tactile, and there is a difference between both of them. If you really want to go into that line, you can go on YouTube and search, and it's a big rabbit hole of mechanical keyboards, different kind of keys, and you can make a choice which kind of keyboard you must go with. Now TVS offer both blue and red switches. As I said, blue ones come a bit on a higher side, maybe 200 or 100 rupees expensive from a large search. As compared to this keyboard, it is merely gold prime, that is gold E Gold Bharat. One difference I can tell you straight away is that the blue switches makes much more sound, and they give a tactile feeling while you press the keys. So you can feel. I mean, it's very difficult to explain this, or maybe you can just once you try, you will get to know that how the difference actually is. And in no way I can say, and anyone else can say, that blue switches or red switches are superior than the other one. It all depends on your choice. There are people who use red for typing and blue for gaming. It all depends on person to person, and some on the internet say that blue is more preferred for writers because it gives a tactile feeling, and red is for gaming where the higher response is actually required. Now, one more thing I must tell is about the quality of this keyboard. Now, I paid as far as I paid 2900 rupees. I think I got the good quality, and it's not right for me to compare this 2900 rupees keyboard with this 400 rupees keyboard which I was previously using, because quality, I would say, is a very subjective term. It depends on what you are using. So for 400 rupees, this is a good quality. For 2900 rupees, it's a good quality, even though it's a wobbly keyboard. It's I mean, you can feel how cheap it is, but for the money I paid, it's good. For the money I paid for this keyboard, it's good. Now, why I paid 2900 rupees for a keyboard? I mean, I was using a 400 rupees keyboard. It is working fine, but the thing is, I consider that keyboard is something which I am, as a person who is using computer, is constantly in touch with. So with this keyboard, I'm communicating with the computer. I'm communicating with my laptop. So the experience must be good. And if the keyboard is not good, as a writer, which as a someone who has to do a lot of writing, if the experience of typing is not good, it can actually reduce the amount of writing I'm able to do, or reduce the fun I'm getting out of the computer. That's why I thought of making this purchase, even though it's not at all a cheap keyboard. 2900 rupees is still a big amount, but the experience which I'm able to get from this keyboard, the typing experience, the sound which every click gives, is I think worthwhile. This keyboard also have a different kind of, as I said, typing experience, but you get a lot of sound because it's a mechanical keyboard. So I will just do a sound test, and you will be able to know how it sounds. So that was the typing uh, test of this keyboard. Now there is one more difference which is there to distinguish between this keyboard and the other normal keyboard you will get for cheaper price, is that this keyboard is almost straight. I mean, the height of the keys is almost straight from the bottom to the top row. However, this has a little bit of ergonomics going on. I mean, the keys are inclining. They are inclined from the top, from the bottom to top, and once when we type, you feel that okay, it's not straight, and you are able to reach the keys in a far more easier way, which definitely gives that ergonomic side of the things. But going on the other side, there is one little problem which others have also pointed out, is that the backspace key of this keyboard is bit small. See, it's only one key, and it's very small. I mean, it's one key, of course, but it's a smaller key as compared to the enter and the shift key. While I compare this one with the other keyboards, see how big this backspace key is. So that might make you to mistakenly click on this uh, I mean backspace key, no, not backspace, I mean this backslash key sometimes, and it will take you days to a week of a time to get used to this smaller backspace key. And it can be used, I mean it's not that big of a problem, it just requires a bit of a practice. And I would say in my case I had to make a lot of mistakes as well. Now, generally, if you go to Amazon and you search for a keyboard in this price range, chances are that you are going to find most of the keyboards with the RGB lighting option. But this keyboard does not have any RGB. And now some people look for RGB, some people look for modern design. But for me, I would think I paid money for the part of the money I paid for is the vintage look, and I like this vintage look. This gives that IBM Model 3 kind of vibes, which I like. And if you like the same, then I think it's a right keyboard to go with, because there are actually very few Indian companies which are giving such an experience of traditional keyboard with such a good quality. But there is still, I mean I said that there is no RGB, but there are still some kind of lighting which this company has given. As expected, caps lock is RGB. This number lock is RGB, so you can just play with these keys to feel that it has lighting option with it. But still, I mean after using this keyboard, I mostly work when my lights are turned on, and I have a window in my room, so I don't feel the need of RGB. I don't game much, and I really wanted a traditional feeling, a vintage kind of look, which this keyboard gave me, and for that I'm very much happy with it. So it maybe finally, as I said, it all depends on the taste. If you like, if you despise actually RGB, then this can be a good keyboard to go with. Now, one more thing, if you have always just used a cheap keyboard, a membrane keyboard, cheap in the sense of pricing, okay, so you will feel a lot of typing difference, because it's a totally different technology as compared to these kind of keyboards or the laptop keyboard. You will feel the sound will come definitely, and you will feel each key and the bump you will get out of each key. So that is going to make a big difference, and that's one more reason to go with this keyboard. Now finally I would say, if you can spare 3000 rupees and you are into the market for a keyboard which looks vintage, which is still available in the market, company is still manufacturing them. This keyboard which I have right now in my hand was manufactured just a month ago, and I got this month. So it's fairly newly made keyboard, unlike where if you want to go with such keyboards, I mean some such vintage keyboard, you have to go to a secondary market, which will make you have a keyboard which was manufactured years ago, for instance, which is already used a lot. But you get a new keyboard with a vintage look, you will get 50 million keystrokes, so it has a long life, and the it has some good elevators. See, and I always use this keyboard with elevators. Just feels much more better. But even though as I said that the keys are ergonomically uh, fixed, so which makes it even usable without the elevator. But elevator just increases the uh, benefit or satisfaction which I get out of this keyboard, and increases my typing speed. So that was the review. As I said, if you are into the market for a vintage looking keyboard with the durability and value for money, you will not get wrong purchasing this keyboard. And only if you have money to spare. I mean 3000 rupees is not a cheap amount, but if you are willing to spend that much money, I think it's a beautifully made keyboard. and it looks beautiful to me. Maybe some people find RGB more beautiful, but I like this keyboard to be much more beautiful. And that was it. Thanks for watching. I hope it helps you.